What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Handles. My name is Lorenzo, and today's story is titled Extend. So before we jump into the story, don't forget to subscribe to this channel because I want to make sure you get an opportunity to see some of the other videos that have already come out, and I want you to be the first alerted for any new stories that come out. With that said, question of the day. When was the last time you stretched? I gotta tell you, my flexibility is horrible, but I did meet somebody a long time ago that explained to me the importance of flexibility. I'll tell you that story. Let's get started. Everyone has a grip on life. Everybody feels like they have a handle. Afraid to share the mistakes. The stories are what connect us. They are the key. We're running out of time. So in high school, one of my favorite classes was, of course, PE. Didn't really have to do much. Grab a ball, rope, spend some time doing something for the next 30 minutes to an hour. Pretty simple. Well, one day I go to PE and I get there and I notice, me and my friend, we notice that we have a substitute teacher for the day. So he comes up, there's about 20 kids in the class, he comes up and he introduces himself. Hey, I'm Mr. Jones, I'll be subbing in for the next 2 days. Your teacher's gonna be out for some undisclosed reasons, but I will be here in the next 2 days. We're gonna focus on stretching, specifically flexibility. Can someone tell me what stretching is? So everybody's looking around like, man, we're juniors in high school. I know what flexibility is. I know what stretching is. I understand these things. I don't want to sit here and talk about that. Just give me the ball or rope and let's figure out something to do with it, right? But of course, one of the students raised their hand and says, yeah, it's about being flexible and, having strength and stuff like that. He said, good answer. Fantastic answer. Stretching is important because you're able to build muscle, flexibility, and of course, most importantly, it's healthy for you. What happens if you don't stretch? What happens if you're not flexible? Somebody else raised their hand and says, well, you just don't feel too good. You're kind of tight, this, that, and the other. He says, absolutely. Absolutely. If you're not stretching, you don't get the range of motion that you need in your joints. Your muscles start to tighten, shorten, and eventually they weaken. But the worst part about not stretching is you won't be able to extend your muscles all the way. You won't have full extension. So everybody's like, okay, great. And the first thing I want everybody to do is I want you guys to go ahead and fan out, give yourself some space, and we're gonna reach down and touch our toes. And I'm gonna count to 10. We're gonna hold that pose for 10 seconds. Everybody's looking around like, man, this ain't preschool. What's this man talking about? So whatever, everybody kind of spreads out. We lean down and start touching our toes. So it starts to count. 10, 9, 8. He gets to the number 5. He says 5. Then he yells, stretch! Everybody's like, oh, okay. So we start stretching even further. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job, team. Everybody up. Congratulations. Hand for everybody. Now we're going to do that again, that same stretch. And we're going to do it again for 10 seconds. And this time I want to make sure you go further than you did the first time. Everybody is looking around like, man, how do I get out of this class for the next 2 days? What is this man talking about? Mr. Jones is treating us like we're 3 years old. But hey, whatever, we're stuck in it for right now. Let's just do it. So we do that same pose for another 10 seconds. And when he gets to number 5, what does he scream? Stretch! So it makes us stretch even further. So we do that process for about 2 or 3 more stretches. He says, great job. How do you guys think you did? Everybody says, yeah, we think we did great. Thanks a lot. Man, you're awesome. He said, okay, so the next exercise we're going to do is I want everybody to go over to the pull-up bars. So the guys look around, kind of like, all right, this is more my speed. Maybe we can see how many pull-ups we're doing, so on and so forth. So we all go over to the pull-up bar. He says, what I want you to do is find yourself a partner. Once you find yourself a partner, I want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to hold yourself and your body weight on this pull-up bar for 10 seconds, and I will count that down. Everybody's like, okay. So we go around, try to find whichever partner we want to find. Some of the girls link up with other girls, some of the guys, and you do some co-eds, whatever. So we go through the process. Of course, most of the guys were able to hold themselves for 10 seconds, but every time he got to 5, what did he say? Stretch! Everyone's like, how do you stretch more on a pull-up bar? But nevertheless, we're holding on, and things went pretty good, right? So once everybody gets an opportunity to go, he stops and says, how many of you let go before the 10 seconds was up? There are about 4 or 5 students in the class. He said, me. He says, all right, I want you 4 or 5 to come to the front and bring your partners with you. So those 4 or 5 go up front, they bring their partners with them. So he said, this time what I want you guys to do is I want you to pick a different partner, and we're gonna do the same exercise, just you 4. So they go around and pick different partners. They get up to the pull-up bar. You can tell that they're adjusting themselves, their grip and everything. And he says, okay, hold on, 10, 9, and he does his countdown. He gets to 5, what does he say? Stretch! I was like, man, okay. Everybody gets done. We have a few people that made it to 10 seconds this time. And then maybe 2 out of those 4 didn't make it to 10 seconds, but they lasted longer than they did the first time. Pretty good, right? He said, so everybody get around. Everybody get around. Before class is up, we want to talk about what you guys learned today. We're looking around, thinking to myself, not a damn thing. My partner's saying the same thing. I can tell some of the other students are the same way. Tell us, Mr. Jones. He said, no, I want you guys to tell me. I want you guys to tell me what you learned today. So, of course, you have one person raise their hand and say, hey, you got to stretch multiple times. Great. Excellent. What else? You know, sometimes you have to do things more than once. Great. Excellent. And then someone else says, maybe you should push yourself a little bit more. Great. Excellent. Bell rings. Everybody have a great day. Everybody leaves. Me and my partner are walking out of class, and we're looking at each other like, man, that was the biggest waste of 30 minutes to an hour in my life, but, you know, whatever. Fast forward to the next day. We're thinking, hopefully our regular PE teacher is here. So we head to the gymnasium. See the sign on the gym door that says, PE class, move to room 315. And guess who it's signed by? Mr. Jones. Damn. All right. So I look at my partner and say, well, let's go to 315. We head over to room 315, and it's a regular classroom, right? You got desks out there, chalkboard, all the random stuff, right? All right, so maybe we're not gonna do much today. Maybe we'll just watch a movie or whatever. So it says, everybody take a seat. You will see that you have a piece of paper on your desk. Do not flip that piece of paper over. Just sit down and wait for further instructions. So everybody sits down. He said, okay. So we talked about yesterday how stretching and flexibility is going to be our focuses for the next 2 days. And this is the second day of doing so. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on another side of stretching. What you have is a piece of paper in front of you, and there is a question on that piece of paper on the other side. I will give each and every one of you 10 seconds to complete that question. Once you complete that question, I want you to drop your pencil, and I want you to put your hands in the air like you just don't care. Man, this man's crazy. But we're already here, right? Might as well go through with it. So he said, don't start until I start the countdown. Once again, everybody, 10 seconds. Ready, set, go. And he starts to count down. Everybody flips their paper over, right? Grabs their pen, their pencil. You can see some people are writing on it, trying to knock out their question. I'm looking at mine like, man, I don't know this shit, but you know, I'm just gonna try to work through it. He's 7, 6, 5. What does he say when he gets to 5? Stretch! Everybody looks like, man, whatever. So it finishes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Put your writing utensils down. I need to see everybody's hand in the air like they just don't care. So he starts walking around. He tells everybody, pass your piece of paper up front. He collects them all. It takes about 5 minutes. We're all sitting there just figuring out what's going to happen next, right? He takes about 5 minutes. He's going through each page. Mind you, there's about 20, 25 of us in the class, right? We'll say 20. He goes through each question. You see he's writing a few things. He gets done. He said, all right, I just looked at 20 pages. And Out of those 20 pages, 15 of you answered the question. Out of those 15, only 7 of them answered the questions right. So I'm going to pass out another piece of paper. Some of you will get different questions. Some of you will get the same question. It will be the same rules as before. You will have 10 seconds to answer this question. Just remember, only 7 of you answered the question correctly the first time. All right. So he passes out the papers. Of course, they're upside down. We can't see the question, but we know how this is going to work this time, right? So he starts. Ready, set, go. 10, 9. He gets to 5. When he gets to 5, you guys caught on by now. He says, stretch. You see the pencils and the pens moving a little bit faster. Everybody's flipping their paper over a little bit more. You see all these hands going in the air like they just don't care. So a lot of people are getting done. We don't know if the answers are correct, but a lot of people are getting done. Fantastic. Done. Finished. I need everybody to pass their papers up front. Pass all our papers up front again. Soon as they get up front, he takes about 5 minutes. He's going through it, calculates everything he needs to, closes it back. He said, okay, out of the 20 people in the class, 18 of you completed and actually answered it. Out of those 18, 15 of you got the answers correct. Great job. I'm going to pass you back your piece of paper now so you can see exactly how you did. Look it over and then we'll go to the next step. So of course I get my papers back. I was 1 out of 2, right? The first one, hell, I didn't even get a chance to answer. Just couldn't figure it out. Second one, I had it down. 2 separate questions though. They were not the same question. So once we got a chance of looking through everything, he says, all right, I want you guys now to write down on the back of one of those pieces of paper what you learned today about stretching and flexibility. At this point, I'm lost because I didn't do shit that had anything to do with flexibility or stretching today. Yeah, he was yelling it, but I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So I didn't know what to write. I just started, to be honest with you, cheating on the next person's paper. Seeing what she was writing. Looked like she had it under control. So we pass them up front. Puts them all into like a little stack, puts them on the side of the desk. He comes around the desk, leans up against the desk, and he says, I want everyone in here to understand the importance of stretching and flexibility. There's 3 things I wanted you guys to learn in these last 2 days. The first thing is flexibility and stretching is just not physical. It's equally mental. If you only stretch physically, the mind won't tell the body exactly what it needs to do. You need to stretch yourself mentally as well every single day. Thus the word problems. He said the second thing, you have to understand that at times you'll have to change your environment, your venue, sometimes your grip, sometimes the people you roll with in order to extend yourself all the way. And he said the third and most important piece around stretching and flexibility is that it's a consistency. You cannot stretch once and think that you're going to extend all the way. You can't be flexible by doing something once a day. It doesn't work that way. Every time you stretch further, not just physically, but mentally. If you take that lesson with you in life, you'll go further. So everybody in the class is like, wow, makes sense. I guess Mr. Jones isn't that much of a damn idiot. I learned the value of stretching and flexibility from Mr. Jones in just those 2 days. And I'm still, to this day, trying to make sure I land that message with myself every day. So I have one ask for you all. It's a simple ask, as every week, it's a very simple ask. The first thing is understand that when you don't stretch yourself physically and mentally, you are shortening, tightening, and weakening your life overall. You gotta have that range of motion. Whether it's from a physical stint or a mental stint. Work on the range of motion that you have in life. So the next opportunity or the next process that you dive into, don't go in with the mindset of doing it just one time. We know that we need to attempt and or stretch multiple times in order to extend ourselves the way we need to. If we don't, in the end, all we're doing is preventing ourselves from extending all the way. And we're leaving potential on the table. Thanks for hanging out with me once again. I sure hope this added value. If so, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys next time right here on Handles.